WrestlingRumors.net Raw review. Guys, please make sure you're subscribed to this YouTube channel and make sure you're getting all your wrestling news from WrestlingRumors.net. With me is the First Lady of Wrestling Rumors, Sam Daly. Follow her on Twitter at LadyNexus13. I am Adam Daly. We're going to recap Raw for you tonight from June 29th, 2015. Washington, D.C. is the city. Sam, before we get into the recap, what did you think of Raw altogether?
I thought it was a pretty good Raw.
It was better than last week's was bad. In hindsight, going back, it was bad. Much better this week, I thought.
Yeah, definitely. They had a lot more segments that were interesting and kept you into it than you just kind of doze off of it.
The matches too. I mean, there was a couple matches I think that really stood out. Let me see. So we started off with Seth Rollins flanked by J&J Security and Kane. Basically, this was just a celebration of the conquering of Suplex City, so to speak. Seth Rollins then presenting Kane with, I believe, a vacation. It was to Hawaii. And Kane saying that he's never been treated this well before, or never got a gift this well before, something like that. J&J Security, because apparently they've been renting some sort of beat up little car recently. They made sure that they hit home on the point. This was a $55,000 Cadillac CTS. Oh, like 16 times during the show tonight. So J&J Security get a brand new car. They get the roll around in. All is well and good in harmony in the Authority.
I love it. I thought it was so cheesy and stupid, and they kept pulling the car out throughout the rest of the show and just rubbing up people's faces the gifts that he was giving them. It was just such a heel move. I loved it.
The car segments were good, but I think this was important too because it really let Seth Rollins finally stand out. You know, I think a lot of us knew that Rollins really had this. He could own this heel character. It's funny that he was banned from a music festival. We won't get into it, but I mean, that's how heel he is right now, that he was banned from a music festival over the weekend. But I mean, he's always been, in my opinion, has been able to carry himself on the mic. They're finally giving him an avenue to go out there and really show off what he can do. And I really think he carried that first segment.
Definitely. I can't argue with that.
All right, so now we get into an interesting little rollover couple segments here where it starts off with Big Show versus Mark Henry, The Miz on commentary. Big Show knocking out Mark Henry to get the KO win. Ryback comes out, attacks the Big Show, and then Miz comes in from commentary, attacks Ryback. This sets up Miz versus Ryback. Ryback ends up leaving their match, so Ryback getting the win via countout. Triple threat coming.
I guess, yeah. I mean, we've seen that pretty much since day one.
Well, now going into Battleground, since it really looks like it's going to be Big Show, Ryback, and Miz, do you think this is something where Ryback's going to continue and carry on with the title, or do you think maybe Miz is a dark horse to take the title back?
I think Miz would be the dark horse. I don't think anybody sees Big Show taking the title.
Yeah, I don't think that's a scenario. Yeah, I hope that's not a scenario. Who knows though? I mean, who never knows? No. But yeah, I don't know. Something tells me that there might be, maybe eventually down the line.
You really think they're going to give it to Big Show?
No. But
Miz.
I think maybe not right away, but I think maybe down the line we might see Miz get it back within the next couple months.
Yeah, definitely. I'll go with that.
All right, so then we go into Paige versus Alicia Fox. She was joined with the Bella Twins. I like that you didn't agree at all. You're like, yeah, whatever. I'll just go with it. Paige versus Alicia Fox with the Bella Twins. Little note to point out here, Nikki Bella just became the second longest Divas champion ever. She just passed your favorite, Maurice Willette-Mizanin. She's at currently 218 days, catching up to 295 very quickly. Paige getting the win over Alicia Fox. I thought it was a fantastic match overall.
It was a good match overall. It was just the Bella Twins. We'll just leave it at that. It was a good match, though.
Get past the Bella Twins aspect of it. It was
a good match. I always love seeing Alicia Fox and Paige go at it, so it was a good match.
Well, where do you think that they're going with this? Because now it's Paige versus, the Bella Army. So
well, seeing as how they have a Bella Army, they have to bring either somebody in from a different company, bring someone back from injury, or bring someone up from NXT. You have to give Paige her own army as well.
Do more divas join the Bella Army before Paige gets somebody on her team?
I could see that happening. Yeah.
Just curious question. I don't know.
Definitely, yeah.
The diva champion here, so we have to ask her. Now we segue into the John Cena U.S. Open Challenge. Much to the chagrin of all of us really. Kevin Owens answers the bell, but says he is not accepting the challenge. He's waiting until battleground. He introduces Cesaro. Cesaro and Cena put on, and it seems like we say this a lot about the John Cena Invitational matches or John Cena matches of late, guys. So, in a way, for as much as we rib on John Cena, let's really look at what this open challenge is doing for people. Fantastic match.
Yeah.
Fantastic match. Ends up with the Cesaro swing into a sharpshooter. Kevin Owens comes in and interferes. Pop-up power bomb to both competitors, and then he basically cuts a promo and says nobody's going to take the NXT, or I'm sorry, the NXT Championship. Nobody's going to take the United States title off of John Cena. If anyone does, it's going to be me.
Yeah, I think we all kind of saw him coming in and interfering, especially with him giving Cesaro a rub at the beginning.
Yeah.
I felt that they were going to bring him in to interfere at the end of the match. But can I just say one thing? Kevin Owens should always be on commentary.
It was so awesome. And he's so good. I love that he's proving his naysayers wrong week after week after week after week, and that he couldn't carry a mic, or there's no way he'd be able to do stick work in the big leagues and all this different stuff, that he's breaking down all these myths that people had around him. It was really, really awesome. And an interesting segue from if anyone, it's going to be me, to anybody but you. We go to a Bray Wyatt promo holding a picture of Roman Reigns with the eyes cut out. I think the mouth was cut out too. And it did say anyone but you all over again. He's basically talking about how, Bray Wyatt's own father threw him away. He should have been the favorite. And he says, who deserves what Roman has? And he basically goes into the, anybody but you tirade all over again, and keeps comparing themselves to basically the yin and yang of each other, the darkness to the light. And almost in a weird, and I know I use this analogy, overuse this analogy, but it's like almost the Batman Joker, we're destined to do this forever kind of type of deal.
Yeah, I guess I can see where you're going with that, because they really want to push Roman Reigns as this good guy and this baby face, and they really want to be like the next John Cena, is what we were saying months ago or a year ago, honestly. And Bray Wyatt is just this dark, sinister character, and I think that he's always going to be that character. So yeah, I can see where you're going with that, where they'll be destined to do it forever.
Well, no, I mean, it sounded like that from this promo. Not that I think this is going to be, something that gets revisited over and over again, over time. It's just the way that he was cutting the promo, talking about, I'm the perfect opposite of you. You hear that a lot in any comic book. I'm just using my favorite comic as a relation to it. That's all. It was a reference point. Never mind.
I'm sorry. I was overanalyzing your example.
Anyway, see, like the internet trolls. The one important part, though, here was that Bray Wyatt did said, I won't let you succeed.
Yeah.
And that's something to keep in mind for later on in the show. Next up, we had the Lucha Dragons and Primetime Players versus the New Day and Bo Dallas. Titus O'Neil picking up the pinfall victory over Kofi Kingston. Basically, we know Primetime Players versus New Day for Battleground. I thought this match was, I thought the ending was nice, but again,
I liked seeing the New Day Bo leaving tonight.
Yeah,
I thought all the puns for this match were really good.
Yeah.
The setup was great. It was such a chaotic match. It was kind of hard to really pay attention to it. It wasn't that exciting, but the setup was great.
Now, as far as the momentum goes for Primetime Players into Battleground to face New Day, do you see them holding on to the championships, or do you see, New Day getting them back?
I would like to see New Day getting them back.
Well, would you like to see that? I mean, what's going to happen versus what would you like to see?
I think that they'll give Primetime Players at least another month. You have to. Yeah.
I think so. And I think that, this is happening at a lot of right times, with the overall everything that's going on with Primetime Players, both of them, winning awards in their personal lives and stuff like that. It is a very good time to have the titles on them. Public perception sometimes, as much as we don't like to hear it, that does go a long way.
That's honestly the only reason why I'm saying give them another month, because the build up and momentum with all their matches lately or their promos hasn't really been that great.
You know what, though? I think they've made up for it in ring, though. I think their ring work's been really good. Titus O'Neil looks like he's a completely new man all over again,
His mannerisms in ring were great.
Yeah. But, all right, let's move on to what I know your favorite segment of the night was. It was called, they were calling it Dolph Ziggler and Lana Go Public. It was basically how
this was my favorite segment.
I kind of, because I know you. Yeah, I know you. So basically what we had was that Dolph Ziggler saying, hey, I never thought, they come out to the ring, hey, I never thought that Dolph Ziggler of all people would be saying this. I set this up because I knew I was being used by Lana to get back at Rusev. But hey, I was getting to make out with a hot chick in the deal, so it was kind of win-win.
Isn't that classic Ziggler, though?
Oh, classic Ziggler. That's what was so brilliant about it. But then confessed that, maybe that there was something else. They had some feelings, and next thing you know, here comes Rusev. Well, no, I'm sorry. Lana did grab the mic before then, because Lana was also talking about how for years she was under Rusev's thumb, and for years that she basically did everything Rusev said, and her life was basically just Rusev, Rusev and controlling by Rusev. And now she's free. And they did hit too, what I think is interesting, that Rusev taught her how to feel about America.
Yeah, she did.
So
that's because Ziggler's American.
Well, I know that, but still, if they do decide to shed that gimmick of hers, like how would they do that later on? But there's a perfect way to say, well, Rusev was the one that told me all these things, and then now that Dolph Ziggler showed me what American men are like, I know not to be judgmental.
Well, she's obviously still going to be Russian, so they're not going to strip that away from her anymore.
Not if they change her name like they were talking about. But again, we're all talking hypotheticals
hopefully they won't change her name. But I loved the fact that, again, that like we said last week, they're just setting up this to get Lana into the women's division. Yeah,
and we'll get to that, because now Rusev and Summer Rae come out. Rusev basically says, and I quote, that he never cared about Lana, and he compared kissing her to kissing a cold fish.
You see, that's weird, because he's going from class to trash. So you would think Summer Rae would be the cold one, because it's trash can.
Ooh, I'm leaving that one alone. Ziggler then steps in and said, you're not going to come out here and insult my girlfriend. And that's when it was like, oh, you actually popped when he called her his girlfriend.
Well, because they never actually said, well, we're friends, but maybe we're more than friends. Then when they said they were boyfriend and girlfriend, I'm sorry, I got into this segment.
So basically then we have a stare down between Rusev and Ziggler. Ziggler's daring Rusev to make some sort of move. Rusev with the injured foot obviously can't, starts to cower and walk away. And I don't know if he's injured, if we can really say that he's cowering, but hey, classic heel move. But, we'll say that he's cowering. And then Summer Rae grabs the mic and says, I'm going to call Lana for what she is, a gold digger.
That makes absolutely no sense.
Well,
how does that make Lana a gold digger?
Because as she explained, that as soon as WrestleMania happened, and he lost, and he lost the United States Championship, and then he got injured, that's when she decided to completely break off of him.
Well, she technically broke off of him before he got injured, if you really think about it.
Perception depends.
They really broke them apart before he got injured.
Subjective. And she also called her a two-faced conniving phony.
I still don't see how any of this proves Lana's a gold digger. Does Summer Rae not know the definition of a gold digger or something?
I think it's called.
I think if she looks in the mirror, she'll see the definition of a gold digger.
That's what I was going to say.
Okay.
But then anyway, so we have she slaps Lana. Then all of a sudden, a cat fight ensues. Yes, chants erupt throughout Washington D.C.
And we finally get to see Lana's underpants, not on our computer screen that we found on random websites from years ago. No.
Yeah,
have you not seen those pictures? I've seen those pictures.
I am pleading the fifth on this one.
I know
I'm playing the fifth, but this is the first time we've really, as you hit upon earlier, this is the first time we really saw Lana get in any sort of physical altercation with another woman. Where are we going with this?
Her getting into the deepest division. It's always been their plan for her to wrestle.
Absolutely, but short term though. Mm-hmm. Short term, what is coming up? Are we having, when Rusev heals, are we having a mixed tag match? Are we having Lana versus Summer at Battleground? I mean, maybe with Dolph in one corner and Rusev in one corner. There's so many things.
How long is Rusev's injury?
That I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. So then we cut to a backstage segment where Dean Ambrose is talking to a Terminator cyborg, fun fact, and then he's talking to Roman Reigns, which apparently, according to last week's commercial, they're the same thing. So
I forgot all about that.
But as they're talking, though, Roman Reigns basically said, I can't trust anybody around here. I got Bray Wyatt after me. I got the Authority after me. And said to Dean Ambrose, you're really the only family I have left here. And then said something about let's rage. So if that's his new catchphrase is let's rage, He's about 10 years, I think, late on that.
My first thought was, what metal concert is he about to go to? Like, let's rage! No?
Not the one Rollins was banned from. Then or maybe the one Rollins
wasn't that a country festival?
I don't know. It was a metalcore band that banned him or something. I don't know. So now we have Neville versus Sheamus, guys. This was basically a match that Neville asked for. Neville definitely asked for it because this match was very Sheamus heavy. Sheamus dominated most of the match. A lot of offense back and forth towards the end, as you usually see against the David and Goliath type of matches. But Sheamus ends up getting the win with the Brogue Kick. What did you think?
I thought it was a good match. I kind of enjoyed Sheamus tossing around Neville for a little bit. He just kind of manhandled him at some points.
Yeah, I was gonna say for the slow pacing it had at the beginning, that was the way that the story was to be told. You know, a lot of times slow pacing in a match does make sense. You know, I mean, it should. I don't like when matches are just slow and you can't figure out why the hell they're slow. Yeah. This was, I think, a beautifully done match. And I know a lot of people aren't going to say like, oh, that was a 5-star match, because I'm not saying that either. But I think this was a classic 101 match of how you tell a story of a smaller guy versus a big guy, you know, slowly wearing down the giant, the tree, so to speak. Yeah. I don't know. There was something and I'm not a Sheamus guy at all, but I really enjoyed this match.
Well, me saying it was a good match, hearing what I usually compare Sheamus matches to.
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying this is a really good match.
Yeah. Yeah. Then we see backstage people waxing J&J's new $55,000 Cadillac CTS as J&J look on and enjoying their new car. I don't know why I had to put that in there. We go back in Jack Swagger versus King Barrett. King Barrett has a royal decree now saying that any of his opponents will now bow down to him before any of his matches.
Yes, they should.
He is king.
It's just respectful. Okay?
It's respectful.
Learn some manners, people.
But we see King Barrett getting the pinfall off of the Royal Bullhammer here. Sam, what did you take from this?
I took it as the biggest heel FU to the 4th of July. Having the British guy defeat the All-American guy. The week of the 4th of July. It's kind of like the biggest FU to 4th of July ever.
I think that was you dug deep into the conspiracy theory vault that one. I think that was deep down for that one. No,
it's the biggest heel move to be British and go over the American the week of the 4th of July.
No, we're not even thinking about that yet, I don't think. No,
he was decked out in the British flag against the All-American American. You're not saying there's no heel heat for that at all?
Man, in DC,
you don't think a bunch of rednecks were thinking about it, like, go America?
I wasn't, but in DC, maybe, I don't know. I think you're reaching.
I'm reaching.
That. Okay. I don't know. I could be wrong though.
I completely forgot it was in DC, so there's another added layer.
I just thought it was showing that King Barrett now is on a little bit of a roll here, and maybe we're going to see something different out of Wade Barrett. That's what I got out of it.
I just thought it was funny. They gave him the one win on the 4th of July against the All-American American. That's all.
It's not. It's June. It's like June 28th.
Well, it's the week of the 4th of July.
Oh, anyway. So now we got your main event of the night, guys. We have Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose versus Kane and Seth Rollins in a no disqualification match. After everybody comes out, Kane and Seth Rollins come out second. It's funny because all of a sudden you hear this car horn beeping. She starts freaking out like, do you hear a car? And I'm like, have you not caught on to the theme of the night yet? In the Cadillac CTS, that $55,000 beauty, did they get to drive around?
I didn't. I thought I was going crazy.
So that's how J&J end up coming to the ring. This match, guys, is basically, your typical no disqualification match. I mean, we had a lot of weapons, involved in this. I think for me, through it all, the high point was really Roman Reigns at one point started cleaning house. Absolutely clean house. Lights go out. Bray Wyatt comes in. Bray Wyatt attacks Roman Reigns. Tosses him, slams him on top of the announce table. Ambrose is left alone. He gets a choke slam, then a pedigree. That's how they get the pinfall. Now... Roman Reigns, I'm sorry, because now I'm trying to talk too fast and get all of this out. Basically, they're setting up. They set up a table for Ambrose in the corner so that Seth Rollins can deliver his turnbuckle powerbomb. Yeah, his corner turnbuckle powerbomb. Roman Reigns comes back again, starts to clean house. Basically, it was Roman Reigns never giving up. It was John Cena 2.0. He ate a pedigree. He ate a couple choke slams. He ended up eating the powerbomb through the table. Sam, what did you get after the Authority stood tall at the end of this? After Roman Reigns really put on one hell of a show tonight, what did you get? Where are all these paths crossing? Because this is, don't you find it odd to end on Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns when realistically right now it's Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt, and granted Brock Lesnar isn't there, but they're putting a lot of emphasis specifically on the strength, not to overuse a pun, but how strong Roman Reigns is, and really showing that animosity between him, specifically him and Ambrose. Him and Rollins, and him and the Authority.
Not really, because I don't think they want the thought of Roman Reigns not being in the title picture to go out of people's minds. I still think that they're entwining him so that whenever he ends his feud with Bray Wyatt, he'll go back to the title picture.
When do you think that is? Because that's something we talked about on the pre-show. And guys, if you haven't watched our warm-up show, please go back and watch the warm-up show. We talked for a good maybe 25 minutes, actually about TNA and Global Force Wrestling. It was a phenomenal warm-up show today. Please go back and watch it. But this is a question for you that we talked about earlier. Do you think this is a one-and-done program, or does this go into SummerSlam?
I kind of hope that this goes into SummerSlam, but I can see it being a one-and-done.
It's tricky because I think the variable was with Sheamus and Randy Orton now, with potentially that maybe working out for SummerSlam too. I don't know. I think, things have just been mixed around a little bit. But as we sign off here, Sam, what did you think was overall the spot of the night?
Lana and Ziggler and Rusev and Summer Rae.
Ooh.
What do you think the spot of the night
I'm gonna give it Cena and Cesaro. That match was
a good match. That was the
amazing.
Match of the night,
yeah. So for me, when we say spot, we always talk about spot, match, skit, whatever. But for me, Cesaro Cena was absolutely amazing. Sans the Cena screwing up the stunner or whatever, the jump stunner or whatever, his pump up stunner we'll call it. But I don't know. I don't know. That for me, that was the at least the moment of the night for me, the highlight of the night.
I enjoyed the cat fight. Don't judge me.
I think we all did. I didn't want to be the one to say it, but I think we all did. I think we all did. Let her grade this edition of Raw.
I'd give it an A.
An A?
Yeah, an A.
I'll give it a B+. I think you could add a little more, but it was good. It was really good tonight. I mean, last week, I don't know, maybe their focus was kind of diverted because of other things. I mean, Tough Enough going on, Premiere. I don't know. Again, it's a long road to the next pay-per-view. We do have the WWE live event this Saturday from Tokyo, Japan, 5:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's a nice little buffer. And let me ask you this question. With this typically, honestly being on a Saturday, would you be opposed to the network doing a live event? It could just be a live event, nothing overly produced, once a month, almost as like a Saturday night's main event, whether it's just an hour or maybe hour and a half, something would that sell you on the network a little bit more? And
I don't know, because NXT already sells the network for me. I don't see why you need anything else to sell the network to other people.
Well, the reason why I ask is either last week or the week before, you were starting to get very complacent and impatient because the storylines weren't progressing as rapidly because we finally have a full month in between pay-per-views. Yeah. Now this, the WWE live event isn't really a pay-per-view, but it's an excellent card. What if they did something like this on a monthly basis and made it like, just call it Saturday Night Main Event all over again, still just kept it, a live event, a house show, but just
every Saturday night?
No, once a month.
Once a month? Okay.
Maybe once a month somewhere, slip it in there. Do you think, that would be a good idea? Would that help sell the network? Take it to that next level, like to just add something else on there.
I like that idea of how they threw in King of the Ring, 2 weeks after a pay-per-view, and then it was another 2 weeks to the next pay-per-view. And then I kind of like that idea, maybe spacing them in between the pay-per-views, just that way. Right. There's that buffer in between,
exactly,
in the middle of that month.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, I like that idea.
Okay, but do you think
that might sell me on it a little bit more?
See, WWE, I gave you one there. There you go. Although production, I know, and that's probably so expensive that it would never work. But fans can dream, can't we? Fans can dream. Sam, any last words before we sign off for tonight?
No, just hope everybody enjoyed Raw like we did.
Guys, please make sure you're subscribing to our YouTube channel. Make sure you're subscribing to everythingwrestlingrumors.net. Guys, check out all the good folks at wrestlingrumors.net, and we will see you next week with another Raw review.